Hi everyone, welcome back to Crochet Rocks. My name's Tracy, and in this particular tutorial I'm going to put an edge on the mile a minute baby blanket that I've made. So this is as it's a separate video, I'm just going to call it the triple Picot edge in really for the baby blanket, so that's what it'll be titled, but it is actually to finish off this tutorial as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get the white yarn that we've been working with and the crochet hook, just pull out some yarn, and I'm going to do a couple of rounds in just a plain stitch, just to add a little bit of a border, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to start at the corner so it's more or less invisible, and I'm just going to join by working over both the tail and the working yarn and doing a chain. So in my corner I just want to do 3 UK double crochets, which in the US is a single crochet. So it's inserting, I'm going straight into this corner, pulling up a loop, yarn over and pull through all those loops. So that will only be 3 for the first one. I'm going to pull this tighter so it disappears. So now I'm just going to do 2 more UK doubles or US singles in this corner. So we'll have 3 stitches in our corner stitches just to get us around the corner. And I'm going to work over this yarn, this tail, and I'm just going to put 1 in every stitch all the way around, just nice and simple. Sometimes I'll do a half double in the US, which is a half treble in the UK, and sometimes I will do that around the outside if I want just to do a nice tall border, but I just really want to have a nice little simple stitch around. So it's ever so tedious, I know, going all the way around just doing these little stitches, but it kind of looks nice really. It's a nice small stitch. So that's my end has been worked over. I didn't go through both my loops there. Hoping the light's okay for you guys. So I'm going to carry along this edge, and I will pause the video and I'll catch up with you when you get to this corner. But if you haven't already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and I'll be back with you when I get to this corner. Okay, so I'm almost back at the corner, so I'm just going to pop 1 in each of these until I get to the corner, which I'm at now, and I'm going to put 3 in here. Now a lot of people have been asking me, well, a couple actually, of how to find your middle stitch. So if you wanted to, that's my middle stitch, that's my second one of my 3 corner stitches. So if you want to do that, to figure it out how to find the middle one, just pop in a stitch marker at that point, and then you'll know when you come round which one of those 3 is the middle stitch. So I'm going to put my third one, and I agree sometimes it is a little bit tricky to see it, and you can, you know, go a little bit off at sometimes. I know it can be very difficult to see those, so just by doing that you can see straight away at a glance which is the middle stitch. Now the one good thing about the mile a minute blanket is that you've got a nice edge of stitches to go into along all of the edges. So quite often when you make a blanket, the top and bottom you've got a nice neat row of edge, but along the side you have to try and pick up stitches along the way, but not with this one. So we can go in to every stitch along just the same, and I just want to show you when I get to the joins what I'm going to do, because we've joined at the corners. So as you can see, there's this going on, so we obviously need some stitches. So I'm going to put 1 in there, and there's a hair, a little piece of me is sewn into just about everything that I make. And then if you go to this side, there's the other one. So I'm going to do one in there. And now I'm just going to carry on doing one in my 3. So just go all the way around the blanket then. And that's how we're tackling our joins. We're just doing one this side of the join. See, there's the join of the 2 mile a minute strips. So we're doing one in that side, one in that side. So when we get to the next one, we'll do one in this, just after those ones there, and one this side. One in each, and then we'll just carry on. And then when we get to the corner, we'll do our 3. And if you want to pop in a stitch marker so that you know which is the center one, that's great. So now I'm just going to work all the way around the edge, and I will come back to you when I get back to this start here, and I'll pick up with you then. Okay, so I've gone all the way around, more or less, just got one more to do. And then I'm just going to slip stitch into that first stitch, and I've made it all the way around. So now I'm going to slip stitch into this one, the next stitch, because that is my middle and I want to be in the middle. And I'm just going to pull out my yarn because it's tucked under my work, and there's a lot more of it out than I imagined. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to do another round. I'm going to maybe do the next one and then see if that's wide enough. If not, I will do another one. So I'm going to chain 1 and cinch it down a little way because I don't want it to be confused with a stitch. And I'm in this one that I've just slip stitched into, which is the center one. I am now going to do 3. And then I'm just going to do 1 in every stitch around, just as before. And when I get to my corner, I'll have my stitch marker in for those of you who wanted to figure out how to tell which is actually the middle one. I will have that in there so that I'll know, and that one will have 3. And then again, if as we're going round, we may do another round. So if you want to, in that second of the 3, pop the stitch marker in, just so that you know which one is the center one if we do put in another row. Just looking at it, that's how much of a border there'll be with just 2 rows. So I think I will definitely go ahead with a 3rd. So if you want to put that stitch marker in the corner one, just as we did on this one, so you know which is the center. And I'm going to pause the video and I will meet back up with you when you've done another 2 rows of these UK double crochet or US single crochet. So we'll do 2 more rows, and then I'll meet up with you when we get back to the start of that 3rd row. So I've done 3 rows and almost back to the start, and I had a little play along here to see what would look better. So I'm just going to do my last one and then slip stitch into my first stitch, and then I'm going to slip stitch into the center one, so I'm in dead center of my corner. Now I'm going to do a triple picot stitch, and I'm going to do it slightly different from what you might have seen before. So I'm going to chain 4, and then I'm going to go into the same stitch that I was in and just pull up a loop. So I've got 2 on my hook, and yarn over, pull through both of them. Now I'm going to chain 5. I'm going to go back into the same stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, and go through both. I'm going to chain 4, and then I'm going to go back in the same stitch, pull up a loop, but this time I'm going to pull it through as a slip stitch and snug it down. So what I've made is this little picot where the center one is a little bit larger. Just bear with me a second, I need to wipe my hook because it's a little squeaky. So now I've seen this before where all of these are the same size and where you get a long chain between them, but I'm not really keen on that. So I'm going to chain 2, and then I'm going to skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and in this third one I'm going to do a UK double or a US single crochet, and I'm going to chain 2 and then skip 2 and do a slip stitch into the next stitch. So now that's the repeat. I'm going to just do exactly the same as I did here. Now when I get all the way round, if it doesn't actually work out, I'll kind of work that out as I go. It may not work out the right amount of stitches, but we can work with that. So I've done 4. And I'm chaining 5, going to go back into that same stitch and do a UK double, US single. Now I'm going to do 4 chain, go back into that same stitch again, pull up my loop, but I'm going to slip stitch that. Oops, don't need to yarn over. Slip stitch it through. There we go. So if I pull my stitch out so it doesn't disappear, this is what it's going to look like. So I don't have a long gappy chain in between, and my little picots are not all kind of loopy. They're just a small one and a larger one like that. So I'm going to keep going all the way along. So I'm going to show you one more time. I'm going to chain 2 and skip 2 and do my UK double, US single, chain 2, skip 2, there's 1, 2, and then I'm just going to slip stitch into the next stitch, and I'm going to make another one of my little triple picots. So I'm going to chain 4, go back into the same stitch, pull up my loop, yarn over and through both, chain 5, still squeaky because it's a rather warm evening, and now I'm going to chain 4, go back into the same stitch, and this time I'm going to pull up my loop but slip stitch it through. And so that's just going to carry on in the same way. They will kind of bend and buckle, but I think they're kind of cute. So I don't normally do borders like this, but it's a blanket for a baby girl, so I just thought it looked kind of pretty. So I'm just going to carry on, and I'm going to carry on in exactly the same way. If at any point you get a little bit confused, just rewind it a little bit and catch up how to do it. I'm going to carry on then, and I will pick up with you when I get to the next corner. Okay, so I've made it all the way to the end. So some of these you have to pull them out a little bit so that they become the right kind of shape. Now this one is not going to make it, oops, sorry, grabbing my hook, is not going to make it to the end because my little picot is going to be here and my corner stitch is going to be the midway point. So I'm going to see what that looks like, because it's a little bit too much really to make up, if you know what I mean, to actually get, I keep move my camera back a little bit. All right, so we'll do our picot in this stitch, It's kind of worked out so that it's in the middle of one, but not so that it's actually the picot at the end. And I think it would be quite difficult to make it up. It would be noticeable if we right, I'm just going to do that for a second and then pull this one out, because they do bunch up a little bit, so you do need to like maneuver them a little bit. So now we're just going to turn, and at least the picot this side is going to be exactly the same distance apart from that one, so that should be good at least. So I'm going to skip 2 and slip stitch into that one and begin again. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go all the way around, and when you get to a corner, if it doesn't work out that way, if you can, instead of just when you skip 2, maybe there's an opportunity to skip 3 or to skip 1 and have it in the right place. Otherwise I think it looks okay as it is, with either the center at the corner as it is there, so there's one either side, or like at the start with one in the dead center. As long as they kind of all match up with the distance, they should look fine. So I'm just going to carry on doing these little picots, and instead of a big long chain, which I've seen some do, I'm breaking mine up so it's caught in the middle, and I like it better that way. So carry on doing that all the way around, and I'll catch up with you when I get back to the start again. Okay, so I've made it all the way round, and all I'm going to do now is slip stitch into this one here, and I'm going to slip stitch into that stitch there, so that it kind of brings it together. And then I left my scissors in the other room, but I would just snip. Let's see if I've got another set. Usually got lots of them. No. Typical. So I'm just going to cut off my yarn and end off, and then sew in all my ends, which I still need to do. I've got some over here, but with this little picot, you do need to kind of pull them into shape and get them to sort of sit up a little bit. And if you want to block them, then you can stop them from wandering around like that. So that's how I've done this border. Now obviously, if your blanket that you've made is not for a little girl and you didn't want something quite so fussy, then I do have a lot of other borders, but I would still put my 3 small rows of UK double crochet and US single, and maybe then do my little scallop edge or something like that. There's I have a playlist of different edgings, which this one will be now part of. So if you are making this just because you needed an edging, but you want to make this blanket, I will put a link to it at the end. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. So bye bye for now.